What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life to Metal. Thought I would do a quick what's spinning vinyl version today. In my office working 2 days straight without doing anything else, and thought I'd show some of the records I've been spinning on the last 2 days. It is a Wednesday today, I believe, and this is stuff I spun on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to start right off with, this is Bolt Thrower, War Master. Love this album. Just got in this kind of death metal kick in the last week or two, and this is one of the ones I pulled out and spun several times over. My favorite album by them, not sure why, it's just the one that listened to the most. I used to have most of their stuff on CD. I traded off a lot of it with a lot of death metal back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I just traded it off trying to get other stuff that I wanted. I just kind of grew tired of death metal because it just started all becoming the same to me. But there is just some great stuff I loved, especially this early stuff that's just straightforward grunt, grind, death metal. You know, it's not about speed, it's not about technicality. They're not trying to be the fastest band in the world or the most down-tuned band in the world or the most evil band in the world. You know what I mean? They're just playing solid, straightforward death metal. Grunt, grind, you know, it's got your blast beats at times, but it's not just about that. It's about heavy riffs, and it's about guttural vocals, and it's just, you know, it's War Master. It's just a great album. So anyhow, very good album from them. I believe this came out in 1991. It was like their third or fourth record, I believe. I think it was their third record. They had an independent album that might have even been considered a demo, and then they had one album that came out on, I believe, Earache before this one. And then, because of that album, spinning so much, I ordered another album that I found cheaply online. I shouldn't say cheaply, but it was, most new vinyl these days seems to be going for $25 to $30, and this one was under $20, so that's what I mean by cheaply. But this is Mercenary. Like this a lot. Now, this one seems to have a little more of a thrash influence to it, which is great. It seems like it's, I don't know if it's tuned differently or what, but it's just got a little bit of a more thrash vibe to it. Still death metal, still Bolt Thrower, but really good album from them. I've forgotten, I hadn't heard it in decades about this album. I can't remember what year it came out, but it was probably the late 90s by the time this one came out. So this is probably like their 5th, 6th album, somewhere in that area, 7th album maybe. Probably around 1998 or so this one came out. But yeah, good album. Bolt Thrower, Mercenary. And because I was listening to Bolt Thrower, that got me in the mood to hear some Sacrifice. Now, what's the connection? Musically, not a lot. They're not even like from the same country. This band, Sacrifice, is where are they? No. Bolt Thrower's from the UK, I believe. And Sacrifice is from Canada. Sacrifice play thrash metal. Great thrash metal. The connection is that they did a tour, Bolt Thrower, Sacrifice, and Believer. So for whatever reason in my head, whenever I think Bolt Thrower, I always seem to think Sacrifice. So I listened to those two albums, and then Sacrifice was next. This is their second album. To me, this is a thrash masterpiece. I still don't have their first album on vinyl. It's on my want list. And then Apocalypse Inside was their third album. I need that one on vinyl as well. But Apocalypse Inside was their fourth album. I need that one as well. Soldiers of Misfortune was their third. I do have that one. But anyhow, this was their second album. Fantastic. I mean, this is their Ride the Lightning. You know what I mean? This is their masterpiece, in my opinion. Just a great album. Pure, raw, guttural thrash. Canadian band. Great stuff. That's actually, you know what? I'm going to show you this one real quick. I wasn't going to show the actual records and stuff, but this one's kind of cool, only because it's a recent reissue on War Against Music. So it's on this kind of, I don't know, puke green color. It comes with a nice thrash metal collage insert, which I dig those kind of things with lyrics. But it also comes with just a huge poster. This is actually the sleeve, the record sleeve. So it's kind of nice that they give you a printed record sleeve. And if I can get it out of the package, there it comes. Just a huge, I believe it's 24 square inch poster of the cover. So, apologize for the glare. The lighting's not the best in here, I think, right now. But yeah, great stuff, man. I just love this album. So, let's get it back here and put it together later on. Alright, so anyhow, so you can kind of see the connection there with Bolt Thrower, and Sacrifice. So from Sacrifice, Canadian thrash, of course, I went to Rammer, another Canadian thrash band. This was an EP on Schizophrenic Records. I think it's only 3 songs, and it's a single-sided. This is actually a cool one to look at too, because it's a silkscreen record, and it's all black vinyl. There's the playing side, and then here is the back side, which you can see it's been silkscreened on. So pretty cool. Not the reason I pulled it out. I pulled it out because I wanted to hear some Rammer. Sacrifice got me in the mood to hear some Rammer, so that was my next up. I played that EP, 3 songs, and it finished, and I went over and I'm like, not enough. Need some more Rammer. So my next album from them was this one, more Rammer. This is Siege of Madness. This is it's not really an EP because it's got 10 songs or 11 songs, but this is a DIY project, something fierce, and I love it because of that. Now this album was not supposed to be released. I don't know what happened. The band disbanded. I don't know what the deal is, but on Record Store Day 2017, I believe it was, 2014, Record Store Day 2014, they put out 100 copies of this homemade record. I guess they had the records made, so they had these red vinyl, which is in here, made for the album, but the covers were never made. It was never put out, so they just had them in sleeves with no records, with no covers, no nothing. So what they did was they took that album I just showed you. Let me see if I can show. This is gonna be tough to show you, but if you look on the inside of this record, you'll see the cover for this one here. So this cover here, they had extra covers, so they took 100 of these covers, turned them inside out, hand glued them, and as you can see, you can actually see some of the glue sticking out, and you can see a little bit of a tear where they had to pull, the glue pulled apart the cardboard, and then they silk screened again the logo on the front, the logo on the back, and then this Record Store Day thing up here is a stamp, and then they hand numbered it. This was 78 of 100. So yeah, really cool DIY project. I love it for that reason. Came with a photocopied insert of what I assume would have probably been the cover, and all the credits and whatnot. Yeah, Rammer Siege of Madness was recorded in the mid-2000s after unrestful slumber, only managed to escape the Schizoid Records crypts in time for the Record Store Day 2014 in limit press of 100. So, anyhow, what's that got to do with music? Nothing. That's just a cool record. It is on the red vinyl, like I said. I'll show you that, not like that matters. It's kind of got a red and black marbling. It is not opaque. It is see-through. But yeah, very cool. Guttural thrash, very fast stuff. Not far off from what you would expect from Sacrifice. Rammer are a newer band from the late 90s and into the 2000s, and from Canada, so that was the connection. So after playing those 2 albums, I grabbed Razor's first EP, Armed and Dangerous. Razor being a Canadian thrash band as well, and they too have that kind of more raw, guttural sound. Think of thrash metal. It could range from the more melodic stuff, like I think of Anthrax or Agent Steel, or the more raw stuff like Dark Angel and Creator and those kind of things. And these kind of fall more towards the raw end of the spectrum. Now this EP is very different for Razor. It is I would consider it thrash, but the difference being that this early stuff was heavily influenced by Raven. Matter of fact, when I hear this, I really hear a heavy Raven influence, and I'm not sure if that's true or not. It doesn't say anywhere on here, we love Raven or anything. But yeah, it's got that early raw speed sound that Raven kind of helped invent back in the early 80s, and I love that sound. So after playing this, and again the connection being this being a Canadian thrash band, of course I had to play some Raven. So you can see where my thought process is going here. This is the Heads Up EP. I hadn't played this one in a while, so I pulled this one out and gave it a spin. So we got a side of studio tracks, 4 songs: Hell on Earth, World Comes Tumbling Down, Stay Human, and Still Hungry. And then the B-side is live, All for One, into the jaws of death. Love that song. And Can't Run, Can't Hide live. Very cool EP. This SPV pressing, original one. I've had it for decades, from 1991. I love the cover art too. It's kind of a mockery of what was going on with all the death metal coming out in the early 90s. You know, everything was brutal and bloody, and so therefore Raven kind of mocked it a little bit with this Heads Up EP. Lots of fun. That got me in the mood to hear this. Now this is a covers album. This was released only to those who were part of the Kickstarter. And when I did the Kickstarter, I did part of it. I got the vinyl that came out for the Kickstarter, which was not this. This was kind of an extra thing. But I got the CD of Party Killers. It wasn't until after the Kickstarter was over that I found out it was also available on vinyl. So I was kind of disappointed that I missed out on that somehow. Luckily, a guy you might remember named Reno was able to hook me up with a vinyl copy, a brand new one. But anyhow, this is all cover songs. So you've got Raven doing Deep Purple, Thin Lizzy, In for the Kill Budgie, Status Quo, Is There a Better Way, Ogre Battle by Queen, He's a Whore by Cheap Trick, Queen of the Dreams by Edgar Winter, Cockroach by The Sweet, Too Bad, Too Sad by Nazareth, Tack Me Back One, one more time, Tack Me Back Home, Slade, Take Me Back One by Slade, or Hang On To Yourself by David Bowie. Very cool covers album by Raven. So after that, no connection here, just switch gears. This one just happened to be around the same area as Raven. I saw it sitting on the shelf and I wanted to hear it. Hadn't heard it in a while, so this is Recon, Behind Enemy Lines. You know, totally different style of music. This is more along the the Queensryche sound, somewhere between Deliverance and Queensryche. You know, it's got that kind of melodic heavy metal tones, and it's got some heavy, almost some speed metal riffing as well. Especially like songs like Behind Enemy Lines, where Jimmy Brown of Deliverance had a hand in playing and writing on this album. So. Yeah, very good album. I love this thing. This is Rock's reissue of it from 2015. Yeah, 2015. I don't have an original pressing of this. The original pressings were only done in, I believe, in either Europe or Japan or both. But regardless, this thing sounds good. It looks good. It's on orange vinyl. It's a great release. All right. This next few. Totally unconnected. I don't know. I think actually it was the Raven, and hearing some of the covers they were doing, suddenly I was like in a prog mood, which is totally outside of the speed and thrash that I was listening to. So I pulled out Gentle Giant Live, which is a recent pickup. Picked this up maybe less than a month ago now. I've spun this one 2 or 3 times. Really like it. Bad thing with me getting a vinyl like this is now I want other Gentle Giant, and I heard this one and I really wanted to play more. I do have one on CD. Which I did play, but I need to get more Gentle Giant on vinyl. It's just, of course, now that I'm looking for it, searching in stores, record stores, I haven't seen none. So I picked this one up for like $5 at Charlie's Records in Albuquerque. It's got a little bit of ring wear, but it plays perfectly fine. Anyhow, double live album, Latter Day Gentle Giant, great prog rock. So yeah, I'll be looking for some more Gentle Giant. So I'm sure you'll be seeing some of that in the future as I can find it. That got me in the mood to hear some live Genesis. This is on Broadway, live in Paris. This is on the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway tour with Peter Gabriel on vocals. Very cool, very, very proggy, very almost atmospheric at times on this live album. Great sound. I mean, you think bootleg, you think poor sound. And I'm not going to say it's like, perfect album quality, but it does sound very good. It must be like a radio broadcast or something to that effect because it sounds great. Excuse me, itchy nose. Yeah, these two had nothing to do with that. I just, wanted to play some metal. So this is a recent pickup as well. Showed this in a video not too long ago, but this is Pulver. Kind of a thrash sounding name, but this band is totally just old school heavy metal. Hugely influenced by the new wave of British heavy metal movement from the early 80s. Very good band, a newer band, and really enjoyed this album. Great cover art too, quite like it. So yeah, this is a great album. I'm gonna have to look and see if there's more from these guys because I really thought this was a good album. I hear a little bit of early Iron Maiden in the sound, but I wouldn't call them by any stretch of the imagination an Iron Maiden clone. But you could definitely hear that kind of Paul Di'Anno years of Iron Maiden was an influence in their sound. And finally, this one actually should have been earlier because I think I played this one during my whole thrash and death metal listening spell there. But this is Sacrament, Haunts of Violence. This is a Pennsylvania thrash band. This was their second album from 1992. This is a reissue. It was never reissued on vinyl originally. It was only on CD. So this is a recent vinyl release on Retroactive Records from last year, 2018. Yeah, just great guttural thrash. Love the high-pitched, it's like almost like Overkill style vocals, you know, but a little more, or maybe Dave Mustaine-ish. You know, he kind of has this high-pitched grunt and growl. So it's not a death metal growl. It's much more high-pitched. It's almost like an ogre. I don't know. It's hard to explain it. You know, some people actually would say he sounded like me when I sang an Ultimatum. So that kind of vibe, you know, more higher pitched and kind of a guttural kind of yell, but melodic at the same time. But very fast music, fantastic guitar work, memorable songs. At least for me. I mean, I can look at most of the song titles and with the verses and the choruses start pounding through my head. So especially the title track. I love the title track. Haunts of Violence. It's just great song. So anyhow, Sacrament, Haunts of Violence, 1992, great album. Last one for this edition of What's Spinning. Appreciate y'all watching. I'm gonna get off here now before it gets any longer. And God bless. Stay strong.